There are moments in a warrior's life when reality delivers a roundhouse kick to the pride. This is the story of one such kick. A galactic war hero outmatched not by weapons, but by leg day. Look, I know what you are thinking. How did the most decorated warrior of the Zentari Empire, winner of the Nova Crown for tactical excellence 3 cycles running, end up filing this embarrassing report? Well, grab your nutrient pods and settle in, because this is quite the tale. I should start by mentioning that I absolutely despised my assignment to Earth Observation Station Gamma. Me, the veteran of the Rigel campaign, reduced to watching over a bunch of barely spacefaring primitives who still thought digital watches were pretty neat. But orders were orders, even if they came from our new peace-loving Galactic Federation overlords. Cultural exchange, they said. Diplomatic relations, they insisted. Don't intimidate the humans, they warned. Hey, as if these soft, squishy creatures could ever feel threatened by a proper warrior. Sure, first contact went smoothly 2 years ago. Too smoothly, if you ask me. The humans just took everything in stride, like meeting advanced alien civilizations was something they did every Tuesday afternoon. From my command pod aboard the station, I would spend hours watching their pathetic attempts at space travel. Their clunky vessels barely managed to reach their own moon without breaking down. Their strongest materials would crumble under the weakest Zentari child's grip. And their military capabilities. Please, my personal battle armor had more computing power than their entire global defense network. I had earned my status through 30 brutal campaigns across 3 galaxies. My exoskeleton bore the scars of combat with the galaxy's deadliest species. The neural augments that enhanced my natural abilities were top-of-the-line military gear, each worth more than an entire human city. I was the perfect example of what a warrior should be. But no, instead of leading glorious battles, I was stuck playing babysitter to a species that still used combustion engines and thought social media was a good idea. The only entertainment I got was watching their ridiculous entertainment broadcasts, especially something they called action movies. The physics were all wrong. The fighting techniques would get anyone killed in real combat. And do not get me started on their depiction of space battles. If someone had told me then that my entire worldview was about to be shattered by a single human civilian, I would have laughed so hard my secondary breathing apparatus would have malfunctioned. But that's exactly what happened. And it all started when Supreme Command decided I needed some hands-on experience with human culture. My first real visit to Earth's surface was, frankly, a joke. They assigned me to visit something called a gym in their North American region. Apparently it was where humans went to maintain their physical form, as if their primitive muscles needed any more weakness built into them. The facility was located in what they called Seattle. The weather was appropriately dreary, matching my mood perfectly. Rain pelted my environmental suit as I stormed through their streets, watching humans scurry about with their primitive umbrellas. The diplomatic corps had insisted I wear civilian gear rather than my battle armor, something about not wanting to cause a panic. Ridiculous. The gym itself was a testament to human inadequacy. Rows of mechanical devices designed to simulate lifting weight or running in place. Why not just do actual work? In the corner, humans were lifting metal bars with circular weights attached. The heaviest ones couldn't have been more than 500 of their Earth pounds. My morning stretching routine involved more weight than that. That's when I noticed him, a human male, probably in his mid-30s by their standards, working with one of the lighter sets of weights. Nothing remarkable about him. Average height, athletic build, dark hair, dark. He wore simple exercise clothes, shorts, and a sleeveless shirt that read, "Just do it." How inspirational. The name tag on his bag read Jake Mallory. Even his name sounded boring. "Quite the impressive facility you have here," I said, my translator converting my natural clicks and whistles into their crude English. The sarcasm in my voice could have cut through reinforced Durasteel. The human Tom just smiled. Not the fearful or nervous smile I was used to seeing from his kind. This was different. Almost amused. "First time in a gym?" he asked, continuing his methodical movements with the weights. "I am familiar with physical training," I replied, drawing myself up to my full height. Even in civilian gear, I stood a good 2 feet taller than him. "Though, I find your methods quaint." Quaint. He set down his weights, that irritating smile still on his face. "Care to demonstrate your superior techniques?" A small crowd had started to gather. Perfect. It was about time someone showed these humans their place in the galactic hierarchy. "Are you suggesting a challenge, human?" "Just offering to spot you on some sets," Tom said, gesturing to the equipment. "Unless you'd prefer something more competitive." The growing audience of gym patrons had their communication devices out now, no doubt recording what they thought would be a historic moment. Oh, it would be historic, all right, just not in the way they imagined. "Very well," I announced, loud enough for everyone to hear. "I propose a series of physical challenges: strength, speed, endurance. Winner takes all." I reached for my credit chip. "I will even make it interesting. 1 million Federation credits says I outperform you in every category." Tom raised an eyebrow. "That's what, about $10 million? Pretty steep bet." He paused, pretending to consider it. "Tell you what, I will take that bet, but with a condition. I pick one of the challenges. More humans were filtering in from other parts of the gym now. Someone had apparently called their primitive media organizations, as I spotted several humans with professional recording equipment arriving. Perfect. More witnesses to this primitive's humiliation. "Agreed," I said, mandibles clicking in anticipation. "Shall we begin with something simple? Perhaps you'd like to try lifting my warm-up weight?" That smile again. What was it about that smile that bothered me so much? "After you, Commander," Tom said, gesturing to the weight room. "After you." For my first demonstration, I casually lifted their entire rack of dumbbells, all of them at once. The crowd gasped appropriately, and I made a show of examining my claws as if checking for scratches. Easy enough, considering my exoskeleton's enhanced strength matrix. "Impressed yet, human?" I asked, turning to Tom. He stood there, arms crossed, still wearing that infuriating smile. "Not bad," he said, shrugging. "But raw strength isn't everything, is it?" I laughed, the sound coming through my translator as a booming guffaw. "Then perhaps a test of agility." I proceeded to execute a perfect series of aerial maneuvers, my body twisting through their primitive pull-up bars like liquid mercury. The crowd oohed and awed. Someone whispered, "Is this even real?" Tom watched, nodding appreciatively. "Nice routine. Mind if I try something?" What happened next still confuses me. The human approached their gymnastics area, took a deep breath, and proceeded to perform what I later learned was called a floor routine. His movements were different. Where I had demonstrated raw power and speed, he showed control, precision. Every motion flowed into the next like water. "Beginner's luck," I growled, though something in my secondary stomach began to churn uneasily. "Let's try endurance. Surely a human can't." Marathon runner walks into a gym, Tom interrupted, chuckling. A few humans in the crowd laughed. I didn't get the joke. We set up on their primitive running machines, treadmills they called them. I set mine to maximum speed, my legs becoming a blur of motion. Tom set his to a modest pace, maintaining that calm, measured approach that was really starting to get under my exoskeletal plates. 10 minutes passed, then 20. I wasn't tired. My enhanced physiology could handle this for hours. But Tom wasn't even breathing hard. He'd settled into what the humans called a runner's rhythm and appeared to be enjoying himself. The crowd had grown even larger. Humans pressed against the gym's windows from outside. Someone had started taking bets. I heard snippets of their conversations. Is that the Jake Mallory? No way, it couldn't be. Should we tell the alien? Tell me what? I was winning, clearly winning. Even if the human showed surprising competence, there was no way he could match my enhanced abilities. And yet, for our fourth challenge, Tom suggested something called rock climbing. The gym had a wall studded with colorful protrusions. Child's play for someone with my grip strength and reach. I scaled it in seconds using only 2 limbs just to show off. Tom took a different approach. He studied the wall first, plotting his course. When he climbed, it was methodical, efficient. He used minimal energy, finding tiny holds I hadn't even noticed. He reached the top just seconds after me, barely breaking a sweat. The crowd's reaction was unexpected. They weren't cheering my obvious superiority. Instead, they watched Tom with knowing looks, like they were in on some cosmic joke I didn't understand. Perhaps, Tom suggested, wiping his hands on his shorts, we should try that challenge I mentioned earlier. My mandibles clicked in annoyance. Fine. What primitive human activity would you like to attempt? Well, he said, stretching casually. I was thinking we could try something I used to do professionally. Nothing fancy, just a friendly decathlon. The crowd erupted in cheers. Several humans actually punched the air. I accessed my neural database for information about this decathlon. 10 different athletic events, in succession. Running, jumping, throwing. The database entry showed humans competing in something called the Olympics. Surely this wasn't... I looked at Tom again. Really looked at him this time. The way he moved, the quiet confidence, the complete lack of concern about facing an enhanced alien warrior. Having second thoughts, he asked, that smile wider than ever. We can always call it a draw. Keep your credits. My pride would not allow it. Proceed with your decathlon, human. I will show you what true athletic superiority looks like. The crowd's excitement reached fever pitch. Someone shouted, "World record holder versus alien warrior. Best Tuesday ever." World record holder. Oh no. As the crowd buzzed with excitement, I frantically accessed the Earth information networks through my neural implants. My blood ran cold. Well, colder than usual as Jake Mallory's profile filled my vision. 3-time Olympic gold medalist, world record holder in the decathlon, called the perfect athlete by human media, 15 years of competitive experience, recently retired to focus on coaching the next generation of human athletes. The images showed him standing on platforms, wearing medals, breaking records that had stood for decades. But that wasn't what terrified me. No, what sent shivers down all 3 of my spinal columns was the training footage. Hours upon hours of humans pushing themselves beyond what should be physically possible. Jake Mallory wasn't just an athlete. He was the product of humanity's insane dedication to something they called sports. You know, Tom said, interrupting my spiral of panic, Most aliens make the same mistake. They look at our biology and see limitations. What they miss is our drive to break through them. The neural feed kept dumping more information into my consciousness. Humans running until their bodies gave out, then getting up to run more. Swimmers crossing vast oceanic distances. Climbers scaling sheer cliffs without equipment. Runners completing marathons in the hottest desert on their planet for fun. "Wait," I said, my translator glitching slightly from my agitation. "You mean humans do this voluntarily?" Tom nodded, beginning his warm-up stretches. "Some of us dedicate our entire lives to it. Take the decathlon, 10 different events, each requiring different skills. Sprinting, long-distance running, jumping, throwing. You have to be strong enough for the shot put, but light enough for the high jump, fast enough for the 100 meters, but have enough endurance for the 1500. My neural implants showed me the statistics, the requirements for each event, the insane variety of physical adaptations needed. No other species in the known galaxy would attempt such a combination of skills. It was madness. But your bodies aren't built for this," I protested. "You lack natural advantages. No claws, no enhanced muscles, no protective exoskeletons." "Exactly," Tom grinned. "So we adapted. We studied our limitations and found ways around them. When we couldn't run fast enough, we learned better techniques. When we couldn't jump high enough, we invented new methods. Every world record, every breakthrough, they all came from someone deciding that impossible was just an opinion." The crowd had grown quieter, listening to our exchange. I noticed many of them nodding. This wasn't just about Jake Mallory. This was about their entire species. My research feed showed me more. A human running 42 kilometers delivering a message, then dying. So they turned it into a competition they called a marathon. Humans throwing spears at distant targets for sport, because hunting wasn't challenging enough. Humans racing each other up the tallest mountains on their planet, not for any practical reason, just to prove they could. "You are insane," I whispered. "Your entire species is insane." "Maybe," Tom agreed cheerfully. "But here's the real kicker. Everything you've seen me do today, that was my light workout. I haven't even started trying yet." More historical footage flashed through my mind. Humans breaking bones but finishing races. Humans competing with artificial limbs. Humans inventing new sports because the old ones weren't difficult enough. A species that turned every physical challenge into a competition, then dedicated their lives to winning those competitions. I remembered my earlier boasts about my enhanced strength, my superior biology. How foolish they seemed now. My advantages were given to me by technology, Jake Mallory and his kind. They built themselves from scratch, pushing against their own limitations until those limitations gave up and went home. "So," Tom said, finishing his stretches, "ready to start that decathlon? Or would you like to reconsider the terms of our bet?" The crowd waited for my response. In that moment, I realized something that would later be added to the official first contact protocols. Never challenge a human to a physical contest until you know their sporting background. Better yet, just don't challenge humans at all. They've probably turned whatever you are good at into a sport and spent generations getting unnaturally good at it. My voice modulator crackled with embarrassment. I may have underestimated the complexity of human athletic achievement. Tom laughed, but it wasn't cruel. "Don't feel bad, like I said, most aliens do. They see our planet, our gravity, our biology, and think we are limited by them. They don't understand that humans see limitations the way a bulldozer sees a picket fence, as something to go through." I looked at my hands, with their technology-enhanced strength, then at Tom's completely natural human form. All my advantages suddenly felt hollow, empty, almost like cheating. "Perhaps," I said carefully, "we could postpone the decathlon. I find myself in need of research about human sporting history." "Sure thing," Tom smiled. "But if you are interested, I'm teaching a beginner's parkour class next week. Might give you some insight into how we approach physical challenges." Parkour. My neural implants helpfully supplied videos of humans leaping between buildings, rolling across concrete, and treating their cities like obstacle courses. Because, of course, they did. Because apparently humans looked at the urban environments they built and thought, yes, this would make an excellent place to jump around like crazy people. I felt a headache coming on, a very human headache. Despite my newfound awareness of Jake Mallory's capabilities, my pride wouldn't let me back down completely. "Perhaps," I suggested, trying to salvage some dignity, "we could try a compromise. 3 events of my choosing, 3 of yours." "Sounds fair," Tom agreed, that eternal smile still in place. "Your 3 first." I chose challenges that would maximize my technological advantages. First, underwater breathing. My respiratory system could process liquid efficiently. Second, raw strength testing with the heaviest weights available. Third, a speed trial around the building. Tom approached each challenge with that same methodical focus. For the underwater challenge, he used something called the Wim Hof breathing method, staying under nearly as long as I could. During the strength test, he used leverage and technique to move weights I thought impossible for human muscles. In the speed trial, he paced himself perfectly, conserving energy while maintaining impressive speed. I won each challenge, but barely. The margin of victory grew smaller each time, and the humans in the crowd seemed more impressed by Tom's performance than my wins. I was starting to understand why. "My turn," Tom said, grabbing his gym bag. "First up, parkour tag." The next 20 minutes were a blur of humiliation as I chased Tom through an obstacle course he created using gym equipment. Every time I thought I had him cornered, he'd find some impossible way to slip past me. Wall runs, precision jumps, rolling escapes. He moved like water through the course, while I crashed around like a malfunctioning cargo bot. "You are thinking too much about power," he called over his shoulder, vaulting over a horse. "Try focusing on flow instead." The second challenge was worth something called yoga. I watched in horror as Tom bent his supposedly inferior human body into shapes that defied physics. My enhanced skeleton and artificial joints actually worked against me, lacking the natural flexibility of human ligaments and tendons. "The thing about the human body," Tom explained while holding a position called peacock pose, "is that it adapts. The more you ask of it, the more it gives you." By now, the crowd had doubled in size. Someone had ordered food from something called DoorDash. People were treating this like entertainment. Several humans were live streaming the event, providing commentary. "Ladies and gentlemen," one broadcaster announced, "we are watching history here. First documented case of an alien learning about human calisthenics the hard way." For the final challenge, Tom pulled out a simple rope. "Double Dutch," he announced. The crowd went wild. I accessed my neural database, Double Dutch. 2 ropes, spinning in opposite directions, requiring the participant to jump in precise patterns while avoiding entanglement. It looked simple enough. "Ready?" Tom asked as 2 of his friends took the rope ends. What followed was perhaps the most embarrassing 3 minutes of my military career. My enhanced reflexes actually made things worse. I kept overthinking the rope patterns. Meanwhile, Tom jumped in and proceeded to perform what looked like a dance routine, combined with acrobatics, all while the ropes whirled around him. "The trick," he said, not even breathing hard, "is to feel the rhythm, stop calculating, and just move." Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhythm. I was a Zintari warrior. We didn't feel rhythms. We calculated trajectories, analyzed patterns, and something clicked in my mind. Every challenge Tom had set focused on one thing, the connection between mind and body. Where I relied on technology to enhance my capabilities, humans had spent generations learning to maximize their natural potential. "One more round," I said, stepping up to the ropes. "But this time, I have a request." "Name it," Tom replied. "Turn off your video feeds," I said, "and I'm going to deactivate my performance enhancers." The crowd murmured, "Proud." Tom's smile widened, but this time it was a smile of understanding. "All of them?" he asked. "All of them," I confirmed, already initiating the shutdown sequence. If I'm going to learn about human sports, I should do it properly. One by one, my enhancements went dark. Strength amplifiers, reflex boosters, neural assists, everything. For the first time since my military training began, I stood as just myself. The ropes began to turn. Without my enhanced processing, the pattern seemed simpler, clearer. Instead of calculating speed and trajectories, I found myself watching Tom's movements, understanding the flow he talked about. I stepped forward. The ropes whooshed past. I jumped, and for just a moment, one glorious, terrifying, purely organic moment, I got it. 3 jumps in perfect rhythm. Not calculated, not enhanced, just natural. Then I tripped and face-planted into the gym floor. The crowd erupted in cheers, not mocking cheers, genuine appreciation. As Tom helped me up, I realized I was experiencing something entirely new. The satisfaction of failing at something, but knowing I could improve. "Not bad for a first try," Tom said. "Want to sign up for my beginner's class? We could work on that rhythm." I looked at my powered-down armor, then at the simple gym clothes Tom wore. "You know what? Yes. Yes, I would. But I have one question. Shoot, what exactly is a burpee, and why do humans hate them so much?" The entire gym groaned in unison. Tom just laughed. "Oh, you will find out. You will find out. To Supreme Command, Cultural Integration Division. After careful consideration, I must revise my previous assessments of human physical capabilities. My recent experience has revealed several critical oversights in our understanding of human recreational activities. First, I would like to formally withdraw my earlier suggestion about challenging humans to physical competitions. In fact, I strongly recommend adding the following warning to all diplomatic briefings before engaging in any form of physical contest with a human. Ask about their sporting background. If they smile and say, "A little retreat," immediately. The 1,000,000 credits I lost have been transferred to Jake Mallory's account. He plans to use them to build a new training facility for young human athletes. When I suggested this seemed wasteful, he invited me to watch something called Little League Baseball. I now understand that humans start their insane athletic pursuits while still in their larval stage. Speaking of which, I have enrolled in several human fitness classes. Yes, you read that correctly. After 1 week of basic training, I have made the following observations. 1. Burpees are indeed instruments of torture, apparently invented by humans to punish themselves for unknown transgressions. 2. Something called Leg Day exists, which humans simultaneously dread and celebrate. I now understand why they have elevators in two-story buildings. 3. Humans have created hundreds of unique ways to lift heavy objects, each with its own name and technique. They argue passionately about these techniques in online forums. 4. The phrase, "one more rep," is a lie. It is never just one more. Most disturbingly, I have discovered that what I witnessed with Jake Mallory barely scratches the surface of human athletic achievement. Did you know they race up mountains for fun? They throw themselves out of perfectly functional aircraft. They swim between continents. They hit small balls with curved sticks and get angry when the ball does not go into an even smaller hole. But perhaps most shocking of all, they enjoy it. They voluntarily wake up before their sun rises to engage in these activities. They pay money to enter competitions that will cause them physical pain. They set goals specifically to break them, then set new, harder goals. My recommendation: update all diplomatic protocols regarding human physical capabilities. Their biological limitations are irrelevant. They simply do not accept them. I watched a human with one leg complete something called a triathlon when I expressed surprise. I was shown videos of humans competing in something called the Paralympics. I had to lie down for several hours afterward. On a personal note, I have deactivated 60% of my physical enhancements. Tom suggested that learning to move naturally would improve my form. I did not understand until I managed to complete a pull-up without assistance. The sensation of achievement was unexpectedly pleasant. Tomorrow I begin something called CrossFit. Tom tried to talk me out of it, saying it might be too intense to start with. I reminded him that I'm a decorated Zentari warrior who has faced death in 3 galaxies. He just smiled that knowing smile and said, "Your funeral, buddy." I'm not sure what a funeral is, but I have updated my medical evacuation protocols just in case. Final observation: humans do not view physical limitations as obstacles to be avoided, but as challenges to be overcome. They have turned the act of exceeding their own capabilities into an art form. It is beautiful, inspiring, and absolutely terrifying. P.S. I have also learned that the proper response to completing a difficult workout is something called a fist bump. When attempted with Zentari anatomy, the results are problematic. I have attached the repair bill for the gym's wall to this report. P.P.S. The video of my attempt at double Dutch has apparently gone viral on human social media. I am told I am now something called a meme. Request guidance on appropriate diplomatic response to being tagged in millions of human social media posts with the caption, "Alien versus cardio, who would win?" Signing off to attend my first Zumba class. Tom says it will help with my rhythm. I am beginning to suspect he enjoys watching me suffer. With newfound humility, Grand Commander Threx Varnak. Note: this report was written while feeling the burn, another human phrase I recently learned. Send help.